to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is... And I'm here with...
Elizabeth Ellie.
And...
Dolphin noises. Hymanson.
I was like, should I bring back the audio clips from Free Willy that we were using a bunch of? But I pulled the actual like sound she makes when she says her name or whatever.
Oh no, all my windows just broke.
Yeah.
The TVs.
But if you're a super keen listener, maybe you can guess what we're about to talk about here. But before we get into that, let's just say hello. Thanks for being here. We're done. We're done learning about being excellent to each other.
Oh.
And are moving on to a new franchise this week. But first,
yes, we're diving in.
We're diving in. We're giving you all
water.
the hints.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, this is only a twofer. That's another hint.
That's right.
So you can email us, sequelrights@gmail.com with your suggestions for future franchises. And find us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Sequel Rights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. That helps other people kind of find our podcast, grow our audience. We'd really appreciate it. If you have, as Ela said, any of those suggestions, tweet them out on us on social media as well. Or just share one of your favorite franchises from the past. Any sharing of the podcast is appreciated.
And I would be totally impressed if you had already figured out what we're talking about. But new franchise this week. We're talking about the 1984 Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah starring film Splash. Oh, man. You guys excited to learn about interspecies love?
We already did. We already did it for...
Again?
Yeah. I hope this mermaid knows how to throw a baseball.
Yes.
I believe the term is interspecies erotica.
Oh.
That's right.
Yes. Clerks 2, all the way.
That's right. All right. Well, why don't we dive right into it?
From the first laugh, critics were hooked.
My name is...
Splash is screamingly funny, says Sneak Preview's Jeffrey Lyons. Newsweek calls it a romantic comedy that is truly romantic and truly comic.
That girl is a mermaid.
You'll go splish for Splash, says Us Magazine. The best time to be had at the movie since Tootsie, raves People Magazine. Splash, rated PG. Now playing at a theater near you. Check local listings.
Us Magazine, what were you thinking?
Oh my God. Okay, look, I went to college. I have a master's degree in arts journalism and criticism, right? Okay, so I wish I could write something as good as it's a romantic comedy that's truly romantic and comedic.
So with
like Pulitzer Prize winning writing right
your
there.
proper training, can you tell us what emotion they're trying to convey when they say you'll go splish or splash?
What does it mean to go splish exactly?
I don't think you want to know.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, my kidneys have liquefied. Well, you went splish for splash. Like, okay.
It's a family movie. We can't describe what it means.
I see.
I found like there was actually a normal trailer I could have played, but it was so boring. It was kind of boring, and I'm like, I came across this TV spot from the year it was out, and as soon as I listened to it, I was like, oh my God, this is too funny. We have to use this instead.
Oh my goodness.
It's just like the most terrible headlines you could read of a review for this movie.
So we got to set the stage. Like, the year is...
1984.
1984.
Tom Hanks's peak comedy Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he's like mostly TV Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
For bosom buddies and all that.
And he can still be like a jerk and like drink and have sex and like not be America's dad or whatever.
He can be totally passed out drunk on a bar.
Yeah. And the pretzels. And his brother's not really helping him there.
No.
Oh, his brother. Goodness gracious.
But yeah, he's like, now going back and watching it, you're like, oh my God, this movie has Tom Hanks, what? But back then it was like, if you look at the list of actors that they tried out for this movie, Tom Hanks would have been like low on the list as far as recognizability.
Splash is 84, and then it's 86 when Tom Hanks is in the Money Pit. and then it's not. Then he's in Dragnet, and then it's 88 when he's in Big, where it really starts to. He becomes the Tom Hanks that we know. But like Joe versus the Volcano is not till 90. Like I thought that this was further into the Tom Hanks repertoire, and it's not. Like this is one of his first film roles.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's more beloved. It's definitely more beloved, I think, than some of those movies you just mentioned that come later.
Yep.
And then where does it fall for Daryl Hannah? Is she like an unknown at this point, or
this is after Blade Runner?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, because I watched a short like making of thing, and Brian Grazer, they had said that they
did Brian Grazer have hair in it? I mean, I'm sorry.
He did. Yeah, he did in the photos, the behind the scenes photos. But yeah, they said that they had seen Daryl Hannah on Blade Runner, and she had like this iconic look to her. Yeah. And it was a situation where the studio was like, no, we don't want Daryl Hannah. You can't cast her. And then he said in the making of thing that like, yeah. And then, the studio head, I think he had to like travel to Switzerland or something. So he was on a plane to Switzerland, and I was just like, yeah, let's hire her. And they like went around their backs, I guess. So,
all right.
Pretty crazy.
And then where is this in Ron Howard's,
Also early, he had done, this is also comedy Ron Howard. He had done that movie Night Shift, which is about working girls working out of a morgue.
I think some
never
of
heard of that, but okay.
I think some of the same writers for this movie worked on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Well, on Tom Hanks thing, it looks like he was on an episode of Happy Days like a year before this. So I think that was still happening.
Okay.
Happy Days inning. So, looks like he'd done TV movies, one feature film that was not a TV movie, and then this was his second. And then the very next year, he'd go on to make Cocoon.
Yeah.
Okay, so had you guys seen this movie before?
No. This is my first time experiencing Splash.
I saw it. I must have been on. It might have even been one of those movies that was heavily edited on Comedy Central.
Oh, okay. I had never seen it before. I remember my parents referencing it as kind of like an old, embarrassing thing that happened in Tom Hanks's career. Like, because we only know like Woody and like Oscar-winning Tom Hanks, and they'd be like, "Oh, I remember when he did that Splash movie? That was so funny," like that kind of thing. So
that super successful movie,
yeah,
like kind of like how I'll never stop referring to Drake as Wheelchair Jimmy from Degrassi. That kind of thing. It's that. Yeah.
But that's because Drake will always be Wheelchair Jimmy.
You can't escape it.
So yeah, this movie. We all watched it. What, on Disney Plus?
Disney Plus for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I have to disclose that I am employed by a part of the Walt Disney Company, and my opinions are only my own.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was a whole bunch of hullabaloo when this came out on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Big controversy. It was one of the first, I think, when Disney Plus came out, people immediately were like, let's scour the library and see what they've done to these movies.
What filth have they put in?
Yeah. And even when you start this movie, the first thing you see is like, this film has been edited from its original.
They took the splish out of Splash.
Yeah. No more Splash. Yeah. And it says it's been edited for content.
Well, since none of us watched it elsewhere, I'm not quite sure what other content was edited, but at some point her hair is digitally extended, not very well, to cover her booty.
It looks real weird. And you know what? I hate to burst their bubble, but like mere moments later, you can definitely see her nipple when she's underwater and later in the movie. So I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know. I don't know what the big deal was. Covering up a butt.
A birthmark that was slightly above her nipple. You don't know.
I don't know. I think, once I knew there was this, the whole butt thing. So then I was like, man, I'm going to like watch really closely to see if there's like other things that are clearly edited out. There was like a Penthouse magazine that looked like it was kind of blurry on the front cover.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, I was like, yeah, I don't know if people are really watching. I don't know what the big deal was about a butt.
I don't know why they had to edit it, because there's so many other things that they didn't edit. So it's either like, okay, do a full clean, squeaky clean family cut if that's your thing, but instead they just like covered the butt and nothing
It
else.
almost
It's
makes me
just-
wonder if they just went off of like the last network clearance that they had, like the standards and practice, like so whatever last cable run that it had, which was probably a little bit dated, and they went off whatever standards and practices notes were from that. Like, okay, let's just do that with our high res cut that we have.
Yeah, I love the thought that angry parents would write in and be like, my kid saw a butt. But then they wouldn't be like, my kid got ideas about dropping coins and looking up at ladies' skirts.
Yeah,
like
right.
they don't care about that apparently. That really important scene is in there, and like they could have cut that out too. That gross
Yeah,
No,
behavior.
but there's a callback to it.
Yeah, but
So
they
you
could have also cut that
can't
out.
cut two scenes.
No, they could
Very
have.
strange,
They
like
could
double
have.
standard, but I guess that's
Yeah.
just America.
Yeah, it's
and,
America. Don't look at a butt, but let's objectify women.
But yeah,
Yeah.
let's
It's
make
very
light of pervy
strange.
things people are doing.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I was surprised how like dirty and racy this movie was, but I think it's still like overall the tone is very like cute and like
Yeah, I
fun.
mean,
So I
it's-
can
Well-
see why they really wanted to put it on Disney Plus. even
it's
though it has
shockingly
things.
racy coming from Ron Howard and fucking Tom Hanks.
Well,
Like-
yeah. I don't know if you guys read about this or not, but they talk about it in the making of it as well, that the movie was, so like racy at the time for Disney that they, this is the movie that caused them to go make Touchstone Pictures. This is the first.
Oh, you know what? I did know that,
Yeah.
and I forgot.
This
Yes.
is this is the first movie that was released on Touchstone Pictures because it was
Yeah.
going to be PG. And at the time, Disney was like, making like Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo and all those like you know cutesy kid movies. And they were really like, we can't put this out on the regular Disney productions or whatever. So
Unless we
I
put
mean,
a
and
song about a banana in there.
That's right.
Touchstone made like tons of good movies over the years,
Yeah.
and that label served them really well for as long as it did, and now it's back in TV.
Mhm.
But yeah, as far as movies go, I mean, they didn't make any PG-13 movies until like the 2000s or whenever Pirates came out.
Yeah.
They were all on Touchstone.
So yeah, this is a big movie for multiple reasons. Yeah. Pretty cool.
I was just looking at the cast of this movie, and I saw something that is just like, it made me think, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And under the music department, it had additional orchestrator, Alf Clausen.
Golf Clausen.
Oh no. I didn't see that.
Yep.
And just like, oh my god! And I was like, some of the music's pretty good. It's like he probably wrote all of it, knowing his career, he probably did all of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
For those who don't know, he is the amazing composer for The Simpsons, who's made tons of wonderful music all throughout it, and they basically just unceremoniously kicked him off recently. Also, when we went to the Hollywood Bowl concert of all the Simpsons music, they brought out Hans Zimmer. No mention of Alf Clausen.
Yeah, because
What?
that
I don't
makes
remember.
sense.
I didn't go to that with you, but that's
Yeah, Hans Zimmer came out in a Stonecutters hat, and then they did Spider Pig, which was great. But then, there was no mention of Alf Clausen.
They didn't sing the Stonecutters. I love that song.
Oh, they sang it.
They
Oh,
did.
They
okay.
sang it. No, they
Yeah.
sang everything. They just didn't say anything about
I'm
it.
sure I've mentioned this before, but I used to listen to those CDs all the time, so
Oh,
I know
yeah.
every song
Classic.
from The Simpsons more than I know any of the episodes.
Yep.
But anyway.
Back to Splash.
Splish.
Splash.
So let's start with the flashback, the
Yes.
intro.
The sepia tone flashback
We're in Cape Cod sometime before 1984.
multiple years ago.
And what's his name? What's John Candy's name?
What was it? Freddie?
The brother?
Teddy?
Freddie?
Something like that. Hold
Frankie?
on.
No, I don't know.
Frankie?
Whatever.
Freddie,
Anyways,
Freddie, and
Freddie.
Alan.
I was right
Yes.
the first time.
the younger version of Freddie is dropping coins
Ugh.
very not discreetly on the ground and then like fully basically lying on the floor to look up women's skirts. Like, what pleasure would a boy of that age derive from just seeing like underwear?
Yeah, and where did he learn this behavior from? I don't know. It's weird because I did think he was a little bit maybe too young to be doing that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird and it was kind of gross. And then Tom Hanks drowns.
He sees some shiny
He
something.
literally kills himself. It's not
Yeah.
that he drowns. He leaps over the railing and into the water. It's not like there was a wave that caused him to be thrown over.
Sure.
I like how it was like, the mom is like, all right, well, we'll see you later, Alan. We're going to go over here. You know where to find us. And like 2 seconds later, he jumps over the side.
I hate my family. I want to die.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, God.
I want to die.
I don't connect with these people at all. I only connect with the water.
I mean, they obviously don't have a great family life because the mom says to the dad, like, can you please talk to him about this coin thing? And the dad just hits him in the head instead of talking to him at all.
See? I bet that's where he got
And
it
he says, I
from.
told you not to use so much money. And he
Yeah. Use pennies. What are you doing? Yeah.
So when he falls in the water, this is like the defining moment of his
That's right.
entire life. Even though he's like 8 years old or
Yeah.
something. He sees a little girl mermaid.
Yeah. And I thought this was super cute. I had no idea that there was like this. I mean, I know the premise of the movie, but I
Long
had
lost lovers. You
Yeah, I didn't
realize
know it was
a
like-
Princess Bride situation.
Yeah, like they had met when they were kids, and they're just super.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, hi.
Okay, so if you think it's cute, I'm gonna now ruin it for you.
All right. I don't think it's cute anymore.
Very early child star check-in
Oh,
because
no.
they're only in the beginning of the movie, right?
Oh
No.
god.
So-
Oh god. Okay.
It's like the casting of this movie is actually the plot of The Orphan. Like, this is a 40-year-old woman.
So it's there's 3 kids, right? And so we have young Freddie is Jason Late, who went on to do a few other shows and voices. And other than that, I wasn't able to find much except that he went to USC and he was in Teak. So it checks out.
Cool.
What's that?
TKE, it's a frat.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. So, the coins thing.
Yep.
Not surprised. Then
That's why he got cast. They knew they could
Yep.
see it in him as a young child.
Yep.
That's a future frat boy. He got inducted that night. He went to he went down there to downtown LA.
He
went
was
to-
like, I looked
frat
up.
house.
He's like, I looked up my 100th skirt, so I can get in now, right? I meet the requirements.
yes. So I found a very, very extensive interview that this author, Mark Tyler Nobleman, did with the 2 other kids in 2014 and the 30th anniversary of Splash.
Mhm.
So David Krebs was young Tom Hanks in the movie, young Alan, and he is now in real estate development, and he didn't really do any other acting other than like commercials and some print campaigns. But actually these kids did a lot of stuff together because they were both from Florida and, trying out and auditioning for stuff. So they put them in a lot of catalogs and stuff together because they thought it was cute later. And then the girl, Shayla McCarvich, she still lives in Florida. She opened up like a little kids clothing boutique with her sister. And I think now she's a personal trainer. But the part that kind of ruins this scene is that she goes into detail about being 7 years old on this set. And for some reason, they forced her to actually be topless for all of it because she was playing a mermaid. So she had to actually be topless for all of it. And she knew about it in advance, I guess, but hated it and was like in tears most of the time that she
Oh,
was on
no.
set because she had to be topless while filming this. And I'm just like,
Ugh.
how was there not a way to film it with like little tiny pasties or a bikini top that was skin colored or hair that was stuck to her? It's just like, are you kidding me? That doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
at all and is super duper offensive.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ugh.
But
Now I
yeah,
I feel
one of the
bad.
things. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying, like, now I feel bad. You're right.
Yeah, I was like, it's gonna ruin it. But one of the things that she said in this interview, and this is also on her IMDb trivia, is that a lot of people, like over the years, complimented her and were like, "Oh, you did such a good job when you're like crying in the scene where they're taking, young Alan away." And she's like, "Yeah, well, I was crying because they were making me be topless again, and I didn't
Oh,
want
God.
to, and so they just made me be topless again, and it made me cry, and they filmed that and used that as that scene."
No. Yikes.
It's horrible.
That's awful.
Gross.
That's awful.
What the hell, Ron Howard? Come on.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that was before he had any of his daughters.
God.
Yep. Well,
Now we have the rest of the movie to talk about.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. That's that's terrible.
But she's doing great.
That's
and
good.
She's putting her kid in showbiz.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Not topless, I'm assuming.
Well, okay. Now I feel bad. I thought it was cute in the movie, but now I feel really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I can like playing some devil's advocate. I could see them thinking that that Ron Howard has worked with child actors before. They probably had limited people on set, and that there was there'd be a lot of technical, like when you're doing underwater photography like that at the time, like they could have. But I mean, at the same time, just have it look bad then. Like you're right. Like
if the
just
kid
have
is
her,
crying,
yeah.
That's messed up. Well, yeah. Well, we are done with the opening scene then, and we move into we move into seeing that Tom Hanks is now working as a produce magnate.
Yeah, he runs a produce company, which is funny.
It's got slimy cherries.
Where are my cherries? Damn it, Tyler.
Well,
You're
I don't
ruined.
have
You're
the
ruined.
cherries, but how about I give you some bananas at cost?
Okay, sold. Done.
I kind of wish that the cherries guy had kept coming back throughout the movie, like the cabbages guy from Avatar or something.
Yeah,
Like that
my
would have been
cabbages.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are my cherries, Tom Hanks?
They were definitely open to running gags. So as we see later in the film, so they could have done that. That would have been funny.
It is confusing. It's like a ragtag group of people moving. Like there's a lot of people at this produce factory, and it's kind of unclear what's happening. Like it seems like they're just unloading trucks and sorting them and loading trucks.
Yeah.
But nothing. It's. I don't know. I guess that's just a New York produce distributor.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that it's weird that this movie is even set in New York. I feel like that if this movie was made today, there's no way it would be Los Angeles.
I thought it was funny too. Like I know it makes no sense, but when it cuts to present day and it says New York this morning, and I was like, and it's like there's like the Twin Towers and everything, and I was like, that's not New York this morning. I mean, obviously that's not New York this morning, but I just thought that was funny, dumb thought I had while I was watching the movie.
I'm glad Disney didn't edit those out.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that would have been weird.
Movies are doing that. Movies are cutting like the Twin Towers out after they've been made. Like, yeah.
What is the point of that?
I don't know.
I don't
They
understand.
were
that.
there. Who cares?
Well, I mean, they did it. They did it for the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, but that was right
That was-
after
yeah,
it
that
came
was
out. What's
like
the point of doing it now?
Yeah, that was like immediately. Oh man. But we get introduced to the big comedy actor in this movie, John Candy, who drives up in some sort of sports car. I don't know anything about cars.
I think it's a Chrysler. I don't know what it is.
I was like, what kind of car is that? Some hot rod,
something
red car.
He's the loser brother, and Tom Hanks is the responsible brother.
I mean, he's the loser brother, but he's he's also like the smooth talking, like I can make deals happen even though I am stupid.
He gets him to a president's dinner.
Yeah. And he sets up like they were going to have be the produce supplier for some entire grocery chain or something.
For the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
John Candy's. Here's the thing that John Candy does so well, and he does it amazing in this movie, is that when he's a piece of shit and you're laughing at him, he's the butt of the joke, and then he turns it on a character and just being like, you don't even know what you fucking have. Like, my life sucks.
Yeah.
And like you should be better about. You should appreciate what you have. And this is at getting to the point of his career where like that's what he does in every movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty great in this movie.
Yes.
I thought it was like a way. I thought it was a great way to show like immediately how much of a sleazeball he was. By he's like, he shows up and he's immediately like, "Oh my God, Penthouse! They're finally published my article. My story is called Lesbian No More. It's a really great one." And I was like, "Oh my God."
Is that still a thing? Like, dudes writing into Penthouse?
I have no idea.
I don't think it's still a thing, but like it was definitely like I know of that as a trope.
Yeah, I wonder
Yeah.
like if that's still a thing. Not that I am going to look it up, but yeah. Because
I'm sure there's a subreddit now. I'm sure
because we still we know about it sort of as a trope, like you said. But yeah, like our future generations even going to understand why that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then you also see
Penthouse is a real estate magazine. It's like, yeah, yes,
yeah.
There's another running gag where the secretary was struck by lightning and as a result is like really, really bad at her job.
Yeah.
But Tom Hanks keeps her anyway because he has a heart of gold.
That's right. She has memory lapses now, I think.
Yeah. Which just means that she dresses up in funny outfits.
Yeah, and tries to call dead people on the phone.
So yeah, those jokes come back. The penthouse joke comes back. Lots of callbacks in this movie.
People getting sprayed with water.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But so it's a chaotic day. Tom Hanks forgets that he's supposed to be in a wedding later in the afternoon as he shows up. Tom Hanks gets a phone call. And it's his girlfriend telling him that she's moving out.
That's right. Victoria's gone, okay? She's not coming to the goddamn wedding, all right?
That was pretty...
That was actually pretty great. It was like, so yeah, Tom Hanks is an usher in this wedding, and everyone's like, "Oh, where's Victoria?" And she's like, "Oh, she's very sick," you know. And then by the fifth person, he just snaps and just is like, "Okay, she broke my heart, okay?
Yeah, you get it?
Not coming."
I don't know why they would be asking him that anyway if he's an usher, though, because like she wouldn't be standing next to him.
Right.
If he was the usher, she'd be seated somewhere. So I don't know why they're even saying that.
Well, he could have just said he's sitting inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she's sitting inside.
And, of course, also during that scene, it wouldn't be a Ron Howard film without a requisite Clint Howard appearance.
That's right.
He shows up just to get yelled at by Tom Hanks, which is I thought was
as
funny.
He does. Get out of here, Clint.
Yeah. Anywhere but the first 3 rows.
Yes.
So Tom Hanks is a horrible usher, and then after the wedding, he gets absolutely wasted.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And then takes a cab to Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did they say? It was 300 miles?
Which is doable.
Or $300? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what fares are, but 300 miles, that couldn't have been cheap, right?
Yeah.
And then he probably had to take a cab back, too, at some point.
Yeah.
You take a train. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he does. And then he wakes up on the beach.
He's on the beach, and he runs into Eugene Levy.
Dr. B-plot.
Yes. I thought he was really fun. I mean, I thought he was great in this, too. I kind of...
Yeah, he's really funny.
At the start, I was like, what is the point of this dude? I don't get it. And then I liked his, like... I ended up liking his slow turn into kind of like a bit of a villain in the movie, but then in the end he's just kind of like a hapless, like, he kind of turns the corner to be.
He believes in mermaids. That's his only crime.
But he's still
he's
still like the punching bag even in the end when he has that moment of redemption.
Yeah, there's a point where there's the other scientist who just shits all over him the entire movie, and then he's like, spoiler alert, they experiment on the mermaid at some point.
Yeah.
And he's like, Eugene Levy's like, oh, don't you think that she's not looking good? Like, should we care about her? And the guy's like, why don't you just go find a unicorn or something? And it's like, he just found a fucking mermaid. Like, you can't make fun of him. Like, you literally just did it.
Yeah.
I was just surprised because, like, I don't know if I've ever seen early work of Eugene Levy's that wasn't the Christopher Guest movies and American Pie. So I was like, oh shoot, like he's so young, and it was funny.
Yeah,
it's quite funny. He has some 2 hapless idiots that are along for the ride with him.
Yeah, and he repeatedly mistakes some other couple for when he's trying to catch her by pouring water on her.
I did think that was a funny gag throughout.
Classic gag.
Yeah.
Following the cab ride, we do get a fun boat joke ride with Fat Jack.
This was so weird. I thought this part was really funny. Because he's just like, oh, what are you scared? What if I do this? Oh. And he's like tipping the boat, and he's like,
Tom
all right.
Hanks they're in this tiny boat coming across the ocean. Tom Hanks is like, yeah, I can't swim, and the guy's just like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with you then. And then he stalls out the motor and ends up just jumping off the boat to swim to shore.
2 miles.
He's like, don't worry.
To get the small boat.
He tries to fix it, and he's like, don't worry, I'm mechanical, I think is what he says.
He just hits it with a hammer.
Yeah.
I find it pretty crazy that Tom Hanks never learned how to swim after that. Incident, especially because he was not in any danger during that incident.
That's true. Although maybe you're like so traumatized about that you're just like never do it again or something.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people, if your family's like vacationing in Cape Cod and you're already 8, like you don't know how to swim, like don't you take swim lessons when you're like 5 or 6?
We have friends to this day that don't know how to swim.
We do.
Yeah, but they're ethnic, not white.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. It's a thing. I don't,
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I did enjoy. We get a little bit a mini open water moment. He gets hit in the head with the boat.
Yep.
And sinks.
That damn eel.
Yeah. Sinks down, and Daryl Hannah shows up to save his life.
That's right.
Take him to the Bahamas or wherever they filmed that one scene with the island.
Yeah.
It was like, we filmed in Los Angeles.
Certainly not Cape Cod.
Yeah. The 3 filming locations were like Los Angeles and New York, and then it was like Nassau, Bahamas, I think.
Yeah.
It's so strange because so much of the iconography, you're like, oh, like Little Mermaid, but like Little Mermaid wasn't even out or created.
Yeah.
Like, and so.
Well, I mean, the story exists.
Yes, the story, but not like the imagery of the like waking up at the beach and the the girl that can't talk and all these things. And so it's just like, oh, I don't know, like I mean, this probably really kicked off like the mermaid fever.
Yeah, there was actually at the same time they were making this movie a competing mermaid film that was going to be made with like starring Warren Beatty, and it was one of those situations where like, this movie had taken so long and everyone was saying no. And then all of a sudden, like this other big production came out that was like a big mermaid movie. I don't think it ended up getting made because they did Splash first and faster. But that's just funny. Yeah. I think this movie might have kicked off a lot of things actually. if you look at the Wikipedia page,
Produce.
Well, no, there's that whole section about, when they're walking down the street and he's like, so what's your name? And she looks up and she's like,
Madison.
Yeah, he's like, where are we? We're at Madison. And she's like, oh, Madison, I like that name. And then he goes, Madison's not a name. And I'm watching the movie like, yeah, it is. There's tons of people named Madison. Like, and then I was like, oh my God, did this movie create the name Madison as like a normal thing?
As a first name, maybe, but not as a last name.
Oh, yeah. But like apparently at that time, people weren't called Madison, whatever,
I don't know. Oh, it's more Madeline. Because I was like, there's plenty of Maddies, but yeah, they're probably Madelines or Madeline. Okay.
Apparently, yeah, it's part of the Freakonomics book. He talks about it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And I had that thought, and that's so funny that they mentioned that on Wikipedia. Pretty crazy. Shows how popular this movie was at the time.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that it's from this movie and not like part of the president's last names as girls' first names trend.
Yeah. Or the Daenerys trend.
Daenerys.
Yes, yeah. That happened.
Daenerys?
Daenerys?
Isn't it Daenerys?
Daenerys.
Daenerys
is the boys version.
Daenerys Targamadon. Yeah.
See, we just came up with a name.
Okay, so he washes up on the beach and
I need to rename my secret kid.
Damn it, you stole my name. God. Okay,
rather
sorry.
than communicate with him in any way, she just plants one on him immediately.
Right.
Yeah, crazy. She's ready to.
And he had a lot of sand on his face, so I was grossed out.
Oh yeah. And like immediately she has legs, right? And there's no explanation about why she has legs. She just has legs, and that's what's happening.
Ursula's completely cut out of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. there's there's explanation later about that kind of, but she's got legs, and then yeah, she jumps back in the water, and we got that infamous hair shot of the butt.
Yep.
Digital hair extension.
Infamous for like the last 60 days. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the two people that read articles about Disney Plus. So then he kind of he goes back, right? And then she has her
She has his wallet.
Yeah, she runs away. He's like, wait, and then but then she finds his wallet. She tracks him down.
She
She
shows
uses
up.
some sea charts and an old shipwreck off of Cape Cod
Yeah.
to find New York City.
That was funny. She's like, I have maps for this. I have underwater paper maps that aren't totally degraded.
Like, you
Yeah,
could
they're
have just
totally-
gone with him and
That
saved
are
yourself
totally fine.
the map trouble.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't get to have the surely heavily edited nude scene at the Statue of Liberty.
At the Statue of Liberty, where the guy says the same line 3 times, and I'm not sure if that was part of the edit or not.
I have a feeling like it's just like he says that over and over as a group of tourists walk up to him, and then they continue on with the next part of the tour.
Because yes, they end up at the Statue of Liberty with a naked Daryl Hannah, and people immediately just run up and crowd her and start taking pictures with her.
I did think that was really funny, like how obsessed people were with like, oh my god, a naked lady, what? Take a photo with this big, oh my god. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, would people really be like that? Like, come on.
I don't know. Maybe at the Statue of Liberty, not here in LA. If there was a naked
People
lady
got
who's
excited
like,
about the naked cowboy. Sorry.
I was like, maybe it was because she's Daryl Hannah and she's like, cute, so maybe people would be more interested. But if it was just like somebody having a
I don't
problem.
know.
homeless lady. Like,
Yeah, I was like someone having an issue, like a problem or something.
psychiatric
They're not
episode,
going
which,
to be like,
she might have been
take
having.
my photo. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
Oh man, I just read this somewhere. You were talking about the filming locations earlier. The beach where Tom Hanks first encounters a new Daryl Hannah is on the former Gorda Cay in the Bahamas, which is now known as Castaway Cay, the private island of the Disney Cruise Line.
What?
It's all
Did
connected.
Disney already own it?
No, I don't believe so.
So if we go on a Disney cruise, we could actually go there and take pictures.
I'm sorry, all cruises are canceled.
We can recreate the hair butt scene.
That's right.
They better have like a photo op there, or if not, big missed opportunity. Big missed opportunity. Ugh.
Spend
So
the day
Instagrammable.
splashing around in the ocean.
Yeah, they gotta like provide you with an insanely long blonde wig, and then you can
Yeah.
like take your picture where you're like running into the ocean.
They have like replicas of the necklace that she wears.
Hashtag splish splash.
Get a photo of yourself
We're
as
gonna be
the,
rich.
as the statue as part of the fountain from.
Yeah, we gotta pitch.
Splash.
We gotta pitch this idea.
So stupid.
Am I to believe that one of the writers of this movie is named Babalu Mandel?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
he's in the movie too.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
The writers get to play. One of them is the tour guide that
Cab
you were
driver,
talking
too, I
about.
think.
No, the other one is the guy at the ice skating rink who like grabs his leg
Yeah.
and is like, "Hey, those are rentals." Yeah.
And right in that same article, there's the cherry guy, the complaining cherry guy is Ron Howard's dad.
Oh,
Oh,
that's nice.
That's fun.
You're ruined. That's probably what his dad said to him too all the time. I'm kidding.
we're doing the movies.
Yeah. You'll never make it in show business, even though you've been doing it since you were 2.
So Tom Hanks picks her up at the police station, and again, she just immediately starts making out with him,
Yeah. Well,
and then they immediately have sex in the elevator.
Yeah.
apparently. It's funny, like, we're joking about them immediately making out, but it's clear like that they have some sort of like connection. There's something weird going on, and like you obviously know this is the girl from the start.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, I mean, she does just walk up and kiss him, but he's kind of like in a daze or seems like, whoa, this is crazy. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. I just thought it was weird. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew obviously cognitively that it was
Right.
the girl from the beginning of the movie, but I was like, really? She's just gonna like, and he's not gonna ask questions? Like,
Yeah, I guess.
okay.
I was kind of like partway through the movie, I was like, wow, this is like an oddly like sexless movie. They don't talk about them having sex or anything, because I guess like I don't know if I was half paying attention or what, but then there's a line later where he's like, oh, well, after, the elevator and on top of the fridge and the couch and this, and I was like, oh, wait, are they having sex in all those places? Like, what
You didn't know they had sex in the elevator? The elevator arrow pauses at between 3 and 4 because they stopped the elevator.
I probably looked down at my phone for like 1 second and totally missed that. That's why I was like, what?
Yeah, they stop at floor 3.5 to.
Yeah. Well,
good thing that building had 2 elevators.
There you go.
So yeah, they start dating. Things are fun. Tom Hanks is happy as a clam, or a clam bra, and he goes into work the next day, a full New Yorker, singing "Zippity Doodah" to himself, doing his best Long Island longshoreman accent, which is insane because he just sounds like Tom Hanks the rest of the movie. But he sounds like a Teamster from The Simpsons when he's singing this song.
Ow, I didn't even notice. What do you mean?
Zippity doo-dah. Like he's doing like a New York accent for the only time in the movie.
Okay. I didn't clock that.
I didn't really recognize that.
I believe you. I just thought it was funny considering, how in the news that song and film have been recently. I was like, oh, of all things, that's what he's gonna sing.
I know. Yeah, he's like super into that movie.
He's a huge fan of Song of the South.
He sings the song like 3 times in the same day. Like, it's not like he just does it once. It happens like multiple times throughout the day. It's his go-to, like, I'm a happy guy song.
Yeah, like, what's your go-to I'm a happy guy song?
Yeah. Like, maybe choose a different song. Disney's got lots of songs they can let you sing for free.
Yeah. It's like Battle Hymn of the Republic. Yeah.
He didn't want to sing like hi-ho, hi-ho. It's off to work with you. I don't know.
There weren't that many like good Disney songs at that point though, because you haven't gotten into the Renaissance yet.
That's true.
You only have the golden or the silver era and stuff.
Like Tyler said, he could have sang the banana song from Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo.
He could have sang the Three Caballeros.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
The package films have come out. Yeah, he could have sang We Are Siamese. I don't know.
No, that's not happy. That's not a happy song. Oh, man. I enjoyed the detour into Bloomingdale's at the height of its power in this movie. I like the idea that, like, so Daryl Hannah is this mermaid. She comes to New York, and Tom Hanks is just like, here, sit down in front of this TV. This will be fun. I'll be back in like 8 hours or something. And she immediately is, consumed by consumerism and needs to go to Bloomingdale's.
Bloomingdale's. She goes on the Joan of Arc journey.
Yeah. It's pretty good that, like, I thought it was cool that she could learn English so quickly just from watching TV. Like, that's definitely cool, but I wish they had continued to expand upon. But instead, I just found it creepy that she couldn't communicate before in English and then learns English.
You wanted it to be more like season 2 of Heroes, is what you're saying. All you got to do is watch some TV, you get that power.
That's right.
Fair enough.
We have another scene where a female character that's out of place in this world watches a exercise class at a mall and gets super into it.
Yep.
Just
that was all the rage back then. My mom literally used to go to Richard Simmons's thing here in Hollywood.
Oh yeah. So. I did like that. We see her doing the exercise in front of the bank of TVs, and the guy's like, "Oh, ma'am, we're closing. We're about to close. You got to head out." And the other guy's like, "She's been here for 6 hours."
I like how she doesn't reveal that she can speak English when it's not convenient because she doesn't want to talk to those guys. But as soon as Tom Hanks gets there, she's like, "Oh, I speak English now."
Yeah, after 6 hours in front of the TV.
Can we talk about Tom Hanks's New York apartment that is just adorned with fish tanks?
Well, yeah, you're getting.
There are fish tanks in the wall. There's a fish tank in the hallway. There's a fish tank in the bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to lay the groundwork for a guy who wants to be a fish. Okay.
He has one in his office too.
Yeah, he does. The office that has 2 parallel posters that just say New York on them. On either side of it.
This is a guy this is a guy that after the movie, his friends are going to be like, "Yeah, makes sense he wanted to be a fish. He had so many fish tanks."
I don't even think he turns into a fish. He just gets the ability to breathe.
Yeah, it's
we'll get to that.
It's kind of unclear.
It's a Waterworld prequel. He's Kevin Costner.
It's unclear. It's unclear.
Yeah. The water's crystal clear.
But I did think it was funny that he had that crazy like globe fish tank like sticking out of the wall.
No, it's
that's
insane.
expensive.
All of it's expensive. Yeah.
It's like he's on Pimp My Ride or something. The apartment version.
Hey, we heard that you really like fish, bro, so we put a fish tank in the wall and on the ceiling.
I think there's an actually show that's like Extreme Fish Tanks or something.
They're based in Las Vegas.
I'm sure there is.
I believe the show is called Tanked.
There's a show for everything.
I only know that is because when we got to like the freeway we have to take from my parents' house, you drive past it and it's like Tanked, like as seen on, I think it's TLC or
TLC.
That sounds right.
Oh God. I mean, so yeah, there's a lot to be said. I'm not going to say a lot about it, but I will just mention that, yeah, it's sort of creepy that it's like, oh, I can't get my life together, but now my dream girl is here who just immediately wants to bone and can't speak English and has no agency other than wanting to be with me. It's pretty creepy when you like think about it for 2 seconds, but if you don't, it's like, oh, well, it's cute. It's nice movie.
I mean, I think that
I don't know.
I think the thing is like, I feel like that concept in the movie, it's creepy when you think about it, but in the film, it's presented in such a sweet way. And she says, like, once she is able to talk, she says multiple times that she like wants to live with him or wants to be at his apartment, and he even mentions that like he was gonna get a hotel room for her, and so
I mean, I'm not implying that any of it is like non-consensual. It's more just like she's a manic mermaid dream girl or whatever, like years before it ever came about. Like,
for sure. No, I get it.
So I don't know.
You guys want to talk about Eugene Levy and his crazy antics in this movie?
Yeah, he's a scientist. He was trying to get photos of Daryl Hannah's, but the hair got in the way. No.
Well, I was like, because his character's arc, like, yes, it's the B plot, but it ends up like kind of like leading the second half of the movie.
Yeah, so like, he feels like that everybody like comes back and he's disgraced. Like nobody believes his evidence, and he's like, I've seen this girl. She's running around New York, and his boss is just like, what are you gonna do, get her wet? And he's just like, that's exactly what I'll do, because like for whatever, like there's at some point after presumably hours of boning between Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah, in the middle of the night she decides to take a bath and turn back into a mermaid in this bathtub, and Tom Hanks wakes up and he's like, I want to get in the bath with you. But she's trying to hide it from him, and so that's when we get established that when she has water around her, that she gets her tail back.
Yeah,
that's the rule that this movie went with.
That rule
brought to you by Morton Salt.
That's right. There's that rule, and there's also the rule of like, I guess she has like a week that she can be.
Yeah, explain that.
She's on Mermaid Rumspringa.
She can go on land for a week, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then you got to come back to the sea and go to the kelp farms.
Yeah. What did Ariel have a week, or did she have like 3 days or something?
I think she had until sundown on some day, or I don't know. She had to make him fall in love before they got married or something. Yeah, I don't know.
So it's basically the same as that, but it's very unclear to me, like throughout the entire movie until like the very last shot, if she's like the only mermaid ever.
Right.
Like, does she have a family? Does she have a life? Does she have a career? Like, are there other mermaids?
Yeah.
Are there like cities everywhere? Or is it just one city? You know, I'm like thinking about these things.
There's no sense. All I know is that, I probably would eat a lobster the exact same way, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when the lobster came, I almost expected her to do the Ariel thing and be like, "Oh, I can't eat this. These are my friends." But instead, she's just like, "Ah, rah, rah."
Yeah, exactly. She's like, "I'm so hungry." I was expecting that too, honestly. I thought she was gonna be like, "I can't believe we're eating this." Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that Elis is talking about, the movie ends with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah swimming towards a giant matte painting of Atlantis.
Yeah, or
very, very blurry map.
where either Ed Harris's character from The Abyss is, or Jason Momoa's down there fucking shit up.
Patrick Wilson's
Patrick Wilson's
ready
down
to
there
scream a song,
singing ocean songs.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, for their sake, I hope it's Patrick Wilson. It's probably The Abyss. Just like amorphous blob, shiny people.
Yeah. As they get closer, you're like, "Oh, it's not getting less blurry."
No, there's nobody else here. I just live in this map painting.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I gave up life with my brother, I guess.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed a little bit more defining of the rules, but whatever.
Speaking of the brother, there's a sequence where Tom Hanks is trying to figure out like what her deal is, because like there's parts where he's just like, it's really weird. Like she says that she only has 7 days, like, and John Candy has a theory that she was a pretty hilarious theory that she was smuggling herself on a boat and then like greased herself up like she was going to swim the English Channel and had to fight off some sharks. But all this is happening while they are inside a racquetball court. John Candy is, which is the most 84 thing in the world. John Candy is smoking a cigarette indoors and just being terrible at playing. It might be racquetball or it might be squash. I found this scene to be very funny.
It was really funny. He's like, "How long have we been playing?" 5 minutes.
For the record, my great-grandfather jumped off the boat pre-Ellis Island and swam into New York.
There you go.
Way back when.
Dang.
Well, I know. I think that the point of them being brothers, like he's kind of like that. I guess that could be like. I think that after that, like Tom Hanks is convinced by that explanation.
Yeah, I think he thinks she's like an immigrant. That's why he wants to marry her and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because he thinks that'll fix the immigration issue that she's having.
Oh, a simpler time.
Yeah, remember when you could just do that?
Got to get a blood test before you get married. Yeah.
Thank God there's no Trump cameo in this movie.
Not in Delaware. God. Drive to Delaware.
So yeah, Eugene Levy is like convinced that he's got to go.
I'm gonna get that mermaid wet.
Got to get her wet. And he tries. He's like a cartoon character.
The correct face.
Yeah, I know.
No, she.
Listeners, you can't see the look of displeasure on my face.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, we'll categorize it this way. He turns into Gargamel for mermaids for about 20 minutes. Where he's just like, I gotta get those Smurfs.
Like the part when he's carrying 2 buckets of water and like metal pails. It's so cartoony. I thought that was
such a cartoon villain thing. It's it's Jesse and James trying to catch Pikachu. It's every reference of like and the fact that he has the like super tropey, I'm at the Natural History Museum and all of these other professors are laughing me off of the stage, like that's like every other movie ever.
I did love the scene right after that when he's talking to his like old professor and he's like, "But you told me the tales. Remember, you told me that mermaids, like people saw mermaids."
I was just blowing off steam.
Yeah, that was just to let you relax. You weren't supposed to base your whole life on it.
I was just telling you relaxing mermaid stories. Guys, what if we had an app that gave you relaxing mermaid stories? It's like Headspace, but it's like some sailors were heading around the Cape of Good Hope.
What would even be a relaxing?
Yeah, most real mermaid stories are like scary. Like
yeah, they're like sirens and making you crash your boat and
stuff. We could just watch that. It's actually just the audio version of that show, Siren.
Actually, on Disney Plus, they probably do have the Little Mermaid TV show, which is a bunch of 20-minute relaxing mermaid stories.
There you go. Some of them involve time travel. No, that's the Cinderella, I think. Never mind.
Yeah, that's Cinderella. It's Cinderella 2, A Twisted Time, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to that someday.
Yeah. But yeah, eventually he is able to spray water on her in this kind of like horrific scene. It wasn't horrific, but I felt really bad for her because she's like screaming for Alan, like she's clearly in like so much distress.
He does nothing. Yeah, he sucks big time.
Exactly. He's just staring like, duh. I mean, I guess it's like shock to see that she's a mermaid, but still like she's so sad and like crying out for him, and he just stares.
It's like, you were ready to marry this girl, and now you're like, you can't even like shake yourself out of your stupor, like to save her.
You wouldn't be like, stop
paparazzi and the Secret Service.
Like I feel like it takes him a long time to come around and be like, JK, I still love you. I'll help you break up.
He's about like 20 minutes.
He first of all, he lets her get taken away. Then he stays in the tank and doesn't save her. Then when they put her in the tank with him, he's pissed off and like doesn't want to touch her or some shit. And then he leaves, goes home, and then gets yelled at by his brother, and then finally has a change of heart.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Lame. He kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And he's Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he's Tom
America's
Hanks, so
dad.
he's like cute and you forgive him, but like if he wasn't Tom Hanks, like it's a different movie.
Yeah. I did think that it was funny how this movie by the end kind of turns into like I was imagining like, oh man, if they made this movie today, this like final sequence would be this huge big summer blockbuster, like, oh my god, they're in a car chase and then there's helicopters and he's on the dock screaming like, get away from her. This helicopter like spinning around like you think she's gonna get captured, and it's really like this big like summer blockbuster like sequence at the end where they're getting chased through the city and all this stuff.
Kind of military.
I thought it was kind of crazy.
Apparently there's a big military research facility underneath the Natural History Museum.
Yeah.
They want those fishes.
I don't know what they were going to do with her other than like, cut her open and figure out what's going on. But it's not like they were trying to make other mer people.
Intense.
Yeah.
It's like the Shape of Water or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of the movie, she's like, I have to leave. I can't. I'll never be able to come back. And then she asks him to come with him, and he says, I can't. And then 30 seconds later, he changes his mind.
Yeah, he's like, my brother's a freaking pervert anyway. And my parents are dead, so
I know. Like when he said when he decided like no, he's not going to. I was kind of like, what? What do you have? What's so great about New York this morning that you have to
he has
stick
two
around?
posters that say New York City on them in his office.
He's like,
he has all those fish tanks.
He's got nothing going on, okay, man? Like,
it's not clear to me why they can never come back.
Yeah, that's true.
Springer.
Because she, came toward humans before when she saved him when he was little, and then...
Yeah, couldn't she just, be in the water and, he could, just jump in?
Couldn't he be like, I want to wave to my brother from the ocean, once every year? Hey, Freddie!
But yeah, it's very unclear. And then he jumps in with her and they escape. And there's a whole long, credits montage of them swimming around with a really cheesy song that for some reason really gave me Benji vibes. It reminded me of that I Feel Love song, even though it's totally different.
Yeah.
But, and then they swim into the matte painting, but he doesn't grow fins. He's just going in his work pants.
I know. And he takes off his jacket I'm done with human clothes.
But he doesn't take his shirt off.
Yeah. I was waiting for him to suddenly have a fin at the end, and then
do you think that it was he was too insecure and didn't want to be emasculated by turning into a mermaid?
Yeah, I feel like he just didn't fully believe, and he would have.
No, I mean that would have been a whole effects thing. So they probably didn't.
They did it for her multiple times.
Well, because that was still one build for her. That would be a whole other build for him.
Yeah, I did think multiple times throughout this movie, anytime they were filming underwater, I was like, this must have been a nightmare to film these underwater sequences. Like, oh my God.
I mean, not that much of a nightmare because he was like, fucking Cocoon, bring it on.
Well, yeah, after this, though, so maybe he learned from this. Yeah.
I've never seen Cocoon.
It's amazing. There's also an incredible Twitter account that tells you about the Wilford Brimley line, because Cocoon is about a group of senior citizens that get some alien eggs in their pool, and it makes them feel more youthful. And Wilford Brimley stars in this movie, and Wilford Brimley looks like Wilford Brimley in this movie. He looks quite old. But the Twitter account that tracks the Wilford Brimley line tells you actors who are now the same age now as Wilford Brimley was at the time of the filming of Cocoon.
All I know is
the
that
answers will surprise you.
The pool from Cocoon is the pool in front of the old building at USC that we used to play flute in front of. So
well, don't worry, you guys. I'm pretty sure there's a Cocoon 2. So we can talk about Cocoon at some point if you want. We can dive into that. Yeah.
Gerard Butler, the same age as Wilford Brimley when the time the Cocoon was shot.
That's so. There's a Twitter account for everything as well.
Yes, indeed.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of like, I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to point out in the movie before we get to the rating here?
Well, no one's gonna feed Tom Hanks's fish, so that's a tragedy. Yeah, let's talk about this weird thing with the president, because there's a point where they go to this dinner with the president. The president's and like Tom Hanks seems to be completely enamored. Like, we're gonna go get married, we have to do this, but like then we have to go to this presidential dinner that he didn't even want to go to in the first place.
It's unclear why they even have to go.
Yeah,
they don't. And then the president's just like, I'm just a guy from Iowa.
Kansas.
Oh, Kansas, yeah. And he's like, but you're the apple of my eye. And like, if they didn't kill him on the spot, so it's weird.
Yeah, no, everyone clapped and was like, that was hilarious. Great speech.
I mean, I guess they just like wanted to bring in the president so that there'd be a lot of press around when she transforms, but I'm like,
that makes sense.
I feel like there were simpler ways to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I guess that justifies the military being there too.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, but I guess this was before everybody had a camera, so if she had turned like at the ice skating rink, like it wouldn't be the same as it is today, where it's like, oh, that's it, everybody knows.
You just have a bunch of crazy people being like, there was a mermaid, I swear. Yeah, no one
was a
would believe
mermaid.
them. Nobody would believe him. Tyler, you got a rating for us?
Oh boy, rating system.
How many decorative fish tanks? I don't know.
I was gonna say slimy cherries, but I was like, no, thank you.
Slimy cherries, gross.
Penthouse Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many letters to the editor of Penthouse Magazine would you publish for Splash?
Would you publish?
Oh, you know what? How many whole lobsters would you consume? For Ron Howard's 1984 Splash.
You know, I think I would bite into and totally consume 6 whole lobsters. And I'd be like, oh God, there's too much romance and comedy in this romantic comedy. How many splishes? Yeah, I mean, I think this movie, I thought it was pretty cute. Like I said, I'd never seen it, and so I don't have like any nostalgic connection to it, which I feel like maybe a lot of people probably do, and that's why, maybe there's a lot of people out there that are like, I named my kid Madison because of this movie or whatever. But I think it's interesting that, this was out before The Little Mermaid, and so I guess it's kind of a cool take on that tale before the one that everyone thinks of first even was out in theaters. So I think there's some, respect to have for that, kind of hitting the screen first. And I just think it's a sweet movie. John Candy's fun. Eugene Levy in an early movie role here is pretty funny as well. And I mean, I don't know. I always like Tom Hanks. Like, what's not to like about Tom Hanks? He's a likable guy. I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna be even nicer than you and give it 7 lobsters, because more just for the like the very common stance of they don't make good rom-coms anymore, which like they really don't. And so no matter how antiquated and possibly offensive this one might be, it's just still nice to watch like a really cute rom-com or a romance movie in general. And you can definitely tell that these two people are stars, especially Tom Hanks. Because he can be an asshole and you're still like, yeah, like,
he's so cute.
Even when he's a jerk, you're like, what a guy, So
yeah,
it's just, there's problematic things, but nothing too horrifying. And God, we've seen so much worse.
Yeah, there's a decency at the core of this movie, and I think that because it is Ron Howard and it is Tom Hanks, and the only thing, any of the malice or bad stuff that comes from Tom Hanks comes from his own feelings of inadequacy or his own like there's a lot of self-deprecating humor. In this movie. That's
true. He never like is particularly mean or degrading to her.
Yeah.
He's a little sarcastic when he gets pissed off, but it's not like never like mean spirited. But it's interesting because I'm sure that many a thesis has been written about why we're like as a society so weirdly obsessed with mermaids.
Yeah.
Like, going all the way back to like ancient times. Like, what is the deal? It's just weird. I don't know what the hell our fascination is with mermaids, but whatever.
What about you, Tyler?
I believe I too am gonna give it 6 whole lobsters. I'm gonna chomp right into. I thoroughly enjoyed rewatching it. I don't think that there was much that I missed. It wasn't like something that surprised me of like, oh, like that's a lot different than I expected it to be. From kind of half remembering it, of half watching it on TV as a kid. But John Candy was great. Daryl Hannah's actually wonderful in this movie. All the performances are fun, and it's like I like a good high concept. This is almost like this movie was nominated for a bunch of Saturn Awards, and it's a sci-fi rom-com concept that's actually pretty fun and something that I wish they would make today. As I'm talking, I'll order one more lobster.
I'm still hungry.
Yeah, still hungry.
Nice.
7 whole lobsters. So and I can see why, where Ron Howard goes on to make some of the greatest American movies of all time. This is well made, well intentioned, and the places, I wouldn't say that it pushes boundaries in any way, but it's certainly not safe either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean like I said earlier, this movie took them forever to make because like Brian Grazer was getting denied like left and right pitching this movie to people. So yeah, they definitely took some chances. Like Disney took a chance making this movie, even though in hindsight it's like, duh. But
yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me either that people are always throwing out the idea of remaking it modern, and obviously it should be gender flipped because there's just not enough mermen stories out there.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Well, I think that's gonna bring us to the end of our Splash episode here. Like we said earlier, this is a twofer because unfortunately the 2015 film A Bigger Splash is not one of the sequels.
I saw that too.
It's not one of the sequels. Unfortunately. So instead we get to watch up next the film Splash 2. And in case when I say Splash 2, you're thinking the number. No, that's not what it is. It's Splash T-O-O. Splash 2.
Splash also.
Which kind of is like, does that even make sense as like an idiom or something? Yeah.
Is this the first one the first second movie that's done that? I feel like that's happened before, but maybe not.
Where it's been something too?
For us, yeah.
We'll have to go back and look, but it might be our first, yeah.
But I mean, like, it doesn't even make sense. The title doesn't make any sense to me. But
you don't know. We'll have to watch
as well. No, it's the romancing of John
Splash
Candy.
2?
It could be something completely unrelated, and then all of a sudden the mermaids are brought into it, and so it's like Splash 2. Like I thought that this was,
this is.
I thought this was a tense political thriller.
Yeah, all right.
Taking place at the UN, and now there's mermaids.
Yeah, this is Splash 2. Okay, that's the only version that I could see making sense. Yeah, I feel like we might be saying that by the time we're watching this next week. Oh man. I don't even look anything about don't look what it says about the movie or anything. Spoilers abound, but it comes out. It's actually one of those ABC made for TV movies, which is why it's impossible to find anywhere
I
to
hope
watch.
Bruce Campbell's in it.
But we're gonna watch it for you guys. Yeah, 1988, so a few years later. But yeah, so that's gonna bring us to the end of this week's episode. We hope you guys liked it. And Eliz, where can people reach out to us?
Yes, please email us your suggestions and your thoughts to sequelrights@gmail.com. And you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at Sequel Rights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or give us a listen on Spotify or Overcast or Pocket Cast. Wherever you listen, however you can share it, it's appreciated.
Yeah, and we, we'll see you guys next week, and we look forward to you listening to next week's episode and being like, wait, this is Splash 2? No! See you guys.
Love, let us see how far